What did you used to be that you aren't anymore? Outgoing, confident, social. After getting out of high school, my confidence really has plummeted and talking to others has become difficult. Sure, I can show emotion through text and hang out with other people, but the spark really isn't there. Like it used to be, my friends and the people I speak with are still great, just not the same. Trying new experiences are now costly, and if you make the wrong decision, it could make you poor or really hit your social life. I know high school really sucked for most, but I would love to have the outgoing and confident personality feelings I used to have. Vegan, I was the most passionate animal rights motivated vegan, and my family and friends probably hated it. Though they don't admit that, I was vegan for 6 years strong. But I went through a mentally challenging time, and over time kept making excuses to eat dairy, eggs, meat, etc. I do still eat vegan food often, and honestly prefer it most of the time. But I'd be lying if I said I wanted to be vegan again. The stupid thing is that my brain still actively reminds me of the agony farm animals go through to end up on our plates, and I feel so much guilt. I just ignore it, I guess. I used to be smart, social, energetic, and organized. Then I had a concussion and all of it went away. I went to the arent after and they said it was minor and I didn't need any aftercare, which now is clearly not true. I missed so much opportunity for physical occupational therapy. A few years later, in my 40s, I was diagnosed with bipolar after crippling depression. I can't help but think it's related because bipolar usually shows up in your 20s. My life has completely changed for the worse. Mildly racist. Didn't realize it. Worked hard since I moved out of my house 30 years ago. There's still some underlying bias, but I'm aware of it and keep working. I make sure my kids know that any of that bullshit doesn't fly. They get it, and the younger generations are better people than me. Their kids will be better, and so on. My dad was horribly racist and his dad was way worse. Took me being away and surrounded by different people to realize how wrong it all is. A workaholic and an overachiever. I was always told I was smart and cared a lot about status. I wanted to be the best at everything and I took on everything. Now I'm a nomad who lives out of a backpack. I've been traveling the world house sitting, working on organic farms, and doing random work online. But I still only spend a few hundred a month to maintain a simple lifestyle. My dream now is to homestead and own a bunch of cats. A hardcore drug addict. Glad to be clean for the last 15 years. You have to want to get clean for yourself. Nobody can ever truly help you when you are like that. It's tough to hear, but it's the truth. I went to prison multiple times, lost family and friends. None of that mattered at the time. You have to see through the fog to get to the other side. Not an easy journey for anyone. Borderline alcoholic. Stopped drinking in December. Stopped smoking weed last month, trying to clean up my act and have a healthier relationship with my kids, wife, and myself. I was drinking every night, most nights to the point of browning out. Tried to repair my relationship with alcohol, but it turns out I just can't have one right now or maybe ever. Confident, probably to the point of being obnoxious at times if I'm honest. It took a lot of self-reflection. Hitting rock bottom, some serious trauma over the death of my loved ones and a few years of therapy for me to realize this about myself. To all the people who put up with me when I was younger, thank you, and I'm so sorry, truly. I used to be incredibly anxious in social situations. Over the past few years I've tried a lot harder to be the person willing to initiate conversations and participate at social events, etc. And now I have a much better time at them. I still get uncomfortable sometimes, but I like that it feels a lot easier to talk to people now. Mentally stable. My health insurance ran out and I'm no longer eligible for the plan I had due to a raise I received. But I also can't afford the full cost of coverage, so I have been raw dogging my mental issues, and it's not going well. My medications ran out a month ago, and I'm just straight up not having a good time. Mean for no reason. Thought it was funny or cool because I'd been around people like that my whole life. But in reality it was just mean. It hurts knowing I hurt people with my jokes, and I won't ever be able to take back being mean. I'm trying to build people up and spread love nowadays, and it feels a lot better. I used to hack the school's cybersecurity system proxy, games, VN, etc. in 6th grade when me and some random people were on a giant GC 50 people. When I inventively caught, I got my Chromebook taken for 3.5 weeks. And I only got 1 day of ASD law. TLDR, I was a hacker in 6th grade. I'm in 7th grade now. I used to be a locally well-known hip-hop artist. I was also an absolute mess that was homeless, jobless, living on my cousin's couch. Now I have a steady job, a roof over my head, a wonderful partner who I've been with for almost 10 years now. I do miss the crazy times, but life is pretty cool now. A professional pet groomer, and then a mobile phone expert. Quotes because I was mostly an expert at selling good devices that mostly sold themselves. Lol. Honestly, I enjoy both a lot. But physically grooming was too hard on my body, and retail was too hard on my ability to knee with my family. Emotional. I used to be so dramatic and feel like that the world was crashing down on me. I would cry constantly and have crazy meltdowns about the most minute shit. After I turned 30, I really got my emotions in check and learned to just deal with shit differently and in a more productive way. Really angry. AMD, not just reactive anger, a visceral, destructive, all-possessing kind of anger. I managed to get rid of most of it. I kept a little, so that I can call upon it if I ever find myself in particular dire circumstances. Also handy for splitting wood. Addicted to alcohol. Married to the mother of my children. Yes. Those two things are related, but perhaps not in quite the ways you might imagine. And no, I don't care to elaborate, but everybody involved is in way better places now than we were then. I used to be really quiet and awkward and gave too many fucks and hated myself. No friends and thought I was autistic. I'm sure others did. Had a stint of being very outgoing when I reached adult age. Now I'm back to being quiet, but I give no fucks. Super fucking anxious. I was even anxious that without my anxiety I'd be unsuccessful and lazy. Turns out I needed a few close calls to convince me nothing really matters as much as I think it does, and things have a way of working themselves out. I used to be hopeless for life. I thought I was just yet another person in a bunch, nothing special. But all that changed when I found the one who gives purpose and a life worth living, one that gives hope every day. And his name is Jesus. Tyne, my wife told me that my smile has been gone for a while, and it's noticeably harder to come out lately. The higher you climb the ladder, the more ruthless you have to be. Sadly, you make choices, and you learn to live with them. Weak. I used to be afraid. I was afraid people wouldn't like me, that I would get fired if I spoke up or said no. Now I don't give a f. Hate me. Fire me, whatever. Actually, I want you to like me, but I'm not going out of my way anymore. I used to be more social, but not really in a good way. More of an annoying trying to fit in way. I didn't like who I was back then. After that I grew more reclusive. Now though, I'd like to be more open again, but in a genuine way. A gangster. From banging street thug to major drug 6 years in the life. Got out of the life. Got an education. Been in banking tech now for 2 decades. The life seems so far away, like it happened to somebody else. I used to be very smart and passionate about everything. I wanted to be involved in everything and wanted to change the world for the better. I was a person with a purpose and was going to do something good for the world. Wealthy. By many people's standards at least. Marrying the wrong person fucked that up quite a bit. Didn't find out about various addictions, spending problems, debts, etc. My spouse had until the divorce process began. Free ... As a kid, for the most part, you're free play. Eat, shit, close to no cares. As an adult, that all disappears. Slave to money, bills, jobs, mortgage, weight, thinking about what you eat, etc. Pretty depressing. I used to be a raging alcoholic and benzos addict. I was often homeless. I was that way for about 10 years. Got a car, bought a house, engaged, have a kid, a good job, doing pretty good. Almost 5 years sober now. Catholic, starting having my doubts about the religion, as I'm sure everyone does at one point or another. Whatever connection I felt to it was gone. Felt a strong call to paganism and haven't looked back since. Worried about what other people think. Most of the time. I'm not saying I don't get self-conscious ever, but I'm probably 75 less than I was when I was younger. The one nice thing about getting older, I guess. Ostracized by everyone surrounding me. Turns out that as an adult, you have more jurisdiction over which spaces you occupy. For myself, that turned out to be escaping Catholic school and elite college. Happy not depressed used to love my life, not no more used to be fearless. Not no more used to mean something now everybody hates me. And I don't mean shit to anybody. Used to be confident, not no more. Used to be homeless for years, putting up with crazy criminals and other people who messed up like me. Now I am at uni studying journalism and communications after years of working as a chef. Severely depressed and suicidal. 0.10 years ago I tried to take my life. Now I'm a teacher, hoping to get through to kids that unfortunately may be struggling. Just as my teacher did for me. I have bipolar disorder. Up till my 30s it was terrible and unbearable. Now I'm medicated, and for some people like me, it settles down with age, settled down a bit. I'm a lot more contented. Sad all the time. Decided to do some self-reflection and change some shit. Now I am less sad all the time. Also a stoner. I still partake on the weekends, sometimes, but nothing else. Very competitive and ambitious at work. After COVID I've changed my view on what's important in life. And I'm now more focused on having a great work-life balance. Fuck the rat race.